Barnes. Bradley.
Here.
Hastings.
Here.
Lynch.
Here.
Pistol.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
That brings us to the approval of the agenda. I entertain a motion second to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second it.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Bradley.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
This time I'll entertain a motion second to approve the minutes from the September 4th meeting and also our monthly financials as presented.
Make a motion to approve. Thanks.
Motion second, any discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Bradley.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
That brings us down to our first item on the agenda. This is not Deborah Lance, actually. I apologize for that. It's Carly Potran, I believe, and she's going to speak to us. Come right up here, Carly, and you can stand there at that microphone. And I think you're going to talk about a couple of services that are available, who you're with, what y'all organization is about, and how to get folks involved.
Absolutely. So, like you said, my name is Carly Potras. I work for the Children's Advocacy Alliance. I'm the program coordinator as well as a forensic interviewer.
Hey, Carly, can
yes.
you, and it's probably me, just
Hey.
don't be afraid to bellow, because
I hope that's on and
yeah.
on.
I hope
It is,
that-
but it doesn't, it's not like sound, it's just going into the
Oh,
recorder.
okay, I'm sorry, just
No, you're fine.
carry on.
Okay, I'm gonna get real loud. All right, well, thank you all for being here. I know you didn't come here for me, I came here for y'all, but I'm really excited to be here. So like I said, I'm with the Children's Advocacy Alliance. So basically, we're an umbrella organization. We're built up of two agencies. So we've got CASA, which is Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and then we've got the Children's Advocacy Center, which is where I work. We're super excited. We're actually based out of Conway, but we opened up a center last year here in Buren County. I'm at the old annex, and I'm obsessed with it. I love coming up here every time we get a call. It's a call of child abuse, which is unfortunate, but I'm always get just a little bit excited because I love coming up here. I love the community. And I just love seeing all this here tonight. I don't even know if we have this kind of turnout in Faulkner County. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about CASA, like I said, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, their job is to be the rock for the foster child. So anytime a child comes into foster care, the goal is to get them assigned to a CASA. That CASA is there from day one to the day that the case ends, and a lot of times past that. So they're attending court hearings, advocating for what's best for the child. Even when the child changes between foster homes and changes judges and prosecutors and all kinds of things, the CASA always stays the same. And so we're really grateful for the CASA program. We're always looking for volunteers because it is a volunteer-based program. The CASA program, they're all just volunteers. So if anybody's interested in more information, I have a couple cards with me. And then, like I said, I work at the center. So the main services that we offer at the center are going to be your forensic interview. So anytime somebody calls the child abuse hotline, it'll get assigned to an investigator if it's accepted, and then they call us for those services. So as an interviewer, my job is to get the alleged details of what happened to the child. We also offer advocacy services, and so basically, again, you're kind of the rock for the family. So any resources the family needs, any like referrals they need to mental health or medical exams or anything like that, the advocate is there for them. So then we offer sexual assault nurse examinations to make sure that the body's okay, the child's body's okay, the child feels okay about their body, and they don't have anything going on. We also offer mental health services. So essentially, we feel like any child who has been through a traumatic experience deserves the right to heal, right? So we want to get all the kids into therapy that we can. We're really lucky. Our therapist actually travels up here on Mondays and sees kids from Buren County, actually, and we're really excited about that. And we're going to start doing medicals pretty soon here as well. So that way, people aren't having to travel all the way to Arkansas Children's Hospital, which they're having to do right now. And then the last big thing that we do is a lot of education and prevention. So our services are based on being on the back side of abuse, right? Once it's already occurred. But we really want to be on the front side before it occurs. So the goal of the education and prevention specialist is she goes out in the community, she teaches both adults and children about body safety, mandated reporting, what to do if you suspect abuse and things like that. And I did want to put a little plug. So we actually have a couple of events coming up pretty soon. So tomorrow night, we actually have what's called the VIP event night for the Festival of Chairs. So we still have plenty of tickets. It's actually it's in Bologna. It's at an old missile silo. But there's going to be like food, entertainment, drinks, that kind of thing. And we still have tickets left that you can buy at hopeandjustice.org. So that's going to be great. And then we've got the Festival of Chairs, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year, on Tuesday. Again, we still have tickets. It's going to be a really great time. So I know that you guys are busy. You have a lot to talk about. I don't want to take up a ton of your time. I just appreciate all of you. I love this community. And I guess that's it.
And we're sure glad you're here. And
Yeah.
it was good when, you had a place, people need your services, they need them bad. You
Yeah.
got a place to interview them. I know the chief of police and Randy with the sheriff's department, and certainly Chad Brown
Yeah, absolutely.
echo exactly what you said.
Yeah.
So it's big. Anybody have any questions for her?
Yeah, any questions?
That's an event tomorrow in Bologna.
Yeah,
Said a couple of things.
Yeah, event tomorrow night in Bologna. Like I said, it's at an old missile silo. It's pretty cool. But we've got tickets you can get at the door. It's limited. But Old Bart's out in Conway, and they also do Greenbrier. They're gonna be having food and all kinds of stuff. We've got live auction items. At the Festival of Chairs, there's a silent auction. It's a really fun time.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
all right.
Any questions for right back
Yes.
there?
What's a good contact number?
So our actual phone number is 501-328-3347. But I'll give you my number just in case. It's 501-912-2156. Try to answer any and all phone
She'll
calls.
answer it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that brings us down to our department head reports. First, we'll start off with the airport commission. I put in a call for Dan Clinton. He just had surgery, and I talked to Alex. Everything's going pretty smooth at the airport, as far as I know, and he knows. Dan's surgery went well. I think, and we have a meeting coming up this Monday, I think. We moved the meetings back to the Monday the 18th, here at noon at the airport commission. That's about all I have on that. And I've said something about Will's open house at the hangar. That's still kind of in the works. So we're still gonna try to do that sometime in the near future. That's all I have on the airport. Brings us to animal control. Tim Pike is on vacation. Any questions for me on the airport? I'll be limited. Brings us to animal control. Officer Tim Pike is on vacation. I talked to him earlier. For September, he had 12 calls, picked up no dogs and 1 cat. He did not issue any tickets. Lori Treat said she may or may not be here. I don't believe she made it. She said she has 31 dogs currently and 12 cats, all ready to adopt at any time. Also, the water is going really, the water situation is fixed out there after a long time, and a huge shout out to the water and sewer department. So she's very grateful for that. In the mayor's comments, I'll probably have, there was an estimate for some fencing, which has nothing to do with the city budget. We're the building, this is all exterior, but I'll mention that. There's some folks that got some prices to put up some fencing that would help on walking dogs. I'll mention that at the end, but that's all I have on animal control. Any questions or comments on any of that? Thank you all for doing that. They're very happy. It's made it a lot easier. Brings us down to fire department report, Chief D.O. Webb.
First off, my daughter's here tonight to witness a city council meeting because she has a class for Arkansas Tech, so that's why she's doing here tonight. We've had our training on our new jaws, worked out really good. Had a lot of people from other departments around the county came, watched what was going on, helped out. For our calls this month, we helped out at the jail. They had a smoke and pepper spray incident that we were able to help them out with. We had a grass fire on Jason Street that was going off in the woods, got that taken care of. Today, we worked with the city police on a 4-car wreck in front of Sonic. It was a pretty interesting wreck. Scarrow Square will be on Halloween night, so I'd like to ask y'all tonight to have the ability to shut the streets down for October 31st so that we can do Scarrow Square.
I'll entertain a motion second to shut the streets down October 31st as times designated,
From
fire chief.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Second, any discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Went,
Yes.
Bissell,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Scarrow, thank you. Scarrow Square will start at 5:30, so I'll probably start shutting the streets down at 5 o'clock so that people can't drive through, because we always have people get there early, and we'll go till 9:30, 10 o'clock, because the next day being a school day, I'm sure everybody will be wanting to get their kids in school for the next day. Talked with GW Diesel today about our new fire truck that we're getting eventually. They're waiting on parts. To give you an idea, I talked to them today. They've already got the new tires put on it. That was $11,000 just in tires.
Yeah, they're cheap, aren't they?
They're cheap. So as of today, the company has already spent $26,000 on that truck to fix it up the way we want it fixed.
Made a good trip up there.
It made a good trip, and we're saving money because the company we bought it from is paying for everything getting fixed. I do want to make a comment to the public. Weather's getting cold. I would like to have everybody check their heat and air systems, their fireplaces, their flues, stove pipes, even their water pipes, because winter's going to be upon us before long, and it'll save somebody from having a fire. Remember, don't plug heaters, electric heaters, into surge protectors. They will melt and they will catch fire. And don't plug 50 electric heaters into one outlet,
Yeah.
because you'll have a fire. So anyway, now's the time to start preparing for the winter time. So everybody, if they would, start checking on that stuff so it'll be easier on you this winter. Other than that, if there's any questions I can answer, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Anything for the chief?
When will that fire truck be done?
We don't know. They said that they're as far as 3 weeks out on some parts that they've got coming in, so it could be another month. They had 16. I drove down there and looked at it 2 Fridays ago. They have 16 trucks from around the state in there they're working on. Little Rock had 2 trucks, Cabot had 1, Conway had 1, and then there was trucks from everywhere else there on top of ours. So the gentleman that's working on ours, he's actually working on 3 trucks, so 4 trucks all at one time, going back and forth as parts comes in.
And where are we gonna store this one?
We have a couple of options that have verified that we can park it when we get it there, get it here, so we're gonna hold off on putting out any bids on buildings until we've got a couple of things in the works that may help us out.
Yeah, a couple of those, talked to them, and it's good options. You did a great job on your recon on the truck, and I understand about it's not ready because I think Will and the water main was talking about they can't get a 2-inch T, having a hard time getting this basic stuff. So I'm glad it's in the state, it's close by, and I'm glad you got the options available. That's looking really good. Anything else for Chief Webb? Okay, thank you, ma'am. That brings us down to Parks and Street Department report, Charles Wilson.
The streets are going pretty good. We've been mowing, slowly catching back up with the mowing. Parks and Recs, I guess it's getting close to Christmas light time. Isn't that wonderful? We gotta start working on Christmas lights. So I guess my crew will start hammering away on that. I've got, y'all appropriated me money to put the lights on at the tennis court, electricity. It went over $600, but I'd like to have $1,500 more, just so whenever we do get everything rolling on it, we'll be able to go ahead and put the bulbs and everything all in, and if not that, then it'll cover some of the electric work cost. So I'd like to have a motion for that.
Need a motion, a second to move $1,500
Into Parks and Recs,
Yeah.
ground improvement, I guess, or
Okay.
Where are we gonna move it, where do you wanna move
Are
it
we
from?
moving it to? To the streets
I
or
think
to-
he talked, he talked to Dina about that, whatever line item that is, it's from general to,
We'll do it from the same that we did the last.
improvement.
So we need a motion to move $1,500 from general to
Streets,
Parks
Parks
and
and
Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we move $1,500 from general to Parks and Rec.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Well, we gotta-
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yeah.
Pistol,
Yes,
Ward.
Yes.
I just said, I guess there was no discussion.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to.
Do we have,
Pretty good.
do we have a time frame of getting that
No,
done?
we gotta have
It's-
a truck that'll reach 40-something feet. And
That-
that's as close as I can get.
Have you got the bulbs and everything?
Sir,
gonna
Have
be
you done
another
got the
month.
bulbs?
no. I've got pole set, I've got power coming into the bottom of the poles, and all I need something to reach up to set all the light fixtures on the poles with, and then run the electric from them down through the pole and tie into the junction boxes.
Okay, that's when we're running out of daylight.
We were hoping that the fire truck would be
Ten-
here.
Tennis is over again this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's same deal with the resurface, and I talked to him this afternoon, he stayed in touch, he said, hey, I'm just up in Mountain Home right now in Harrison, and, you know, every time I tell you, end of August, end of September, and he said, you know, definitely by, hopefully, the very end of October, 1st of November, so,
And, I mean-
same problem they're having.
And I'm still in the works of working out somebody with a bucket truck that'll reach it. I mean, I don't have one, and nobody else has one really, so, I mean, 40 foot, that's a long reach. Yours won't reach these lights, I'm
It will
sorry.
reach them.
No, cause you're gonna have to be 15 foot from them.
Okay.
You gotta, it's 22 feet from the fence, and then you've gotta go up 35 feet. And, I mean, we can bring it out there and try it, feel good, if it'll reach it.
I've just asked for it for 2 months, and I keep saying, when are we gonna get it done? And it hadn't been done.
Bring your truck out, if it'll reach it, I'll put them on.
I know we use Pettigene, but
I'm under a paycheck that thinking it won't reach them.
can you not get Pettigene to help you?
I mean, I'm just trying to get it done.
Yeah. But
Like I said, tennis is over this year,
Well,
so we're
I'm
done.
not gonna stand on the board on the bucket to put the lights on.
Okay, I have another question. So, did we not already have lights that we got donated like 2 or 3 years ago that were still in the boxes that weren't put up?
Those were, no,
We've
no,
got all
that
the
was-
fixtures and everything. I just gotta have something to reach up.
Talking about from that place over in Shirley?
No,
No.
that I got donated a couple years ago, and we've had them on the ground. I thought they were the lights, the actual bulbs, but we didn't have the lights.
No,
poles,
I don't.
You gotta have special lights.
Yes, yes, these were special, these were donated from another tennis.
No, we didn't get anything like that. We had a chance to go buy it, take it down, but we didn't have the monies to go take it down and buy it.
No, these have been on the ground for quite some time, and they were stored in your shop.
We got the fixtures, I've had the fixtures stored in
So
my
it's just
shop.
fixtures, they did not come with the bulbs.
No bulbs, no.
Okay, but the
No.
fixtures were free.
And those come from grant money, I think.
They did.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah,
like.
I've got them,
But I
and they're
thought
put
they
up.
came with bulbs, so that's why I was like,
No.
why are we still waiting on bulbs?
There's no bulbs, and we're not waiting on bulbs, we're waiting on a truck that'll reach
Right,
35
right.
feet.
So you've got the bulbs, and,
No, I've got the fixtures.
but we're still waiting, so we're gonna get the bucket truck and then the bulbs. We're gonna get the
We
bulbs
gotta
and
get
then
the
the
bucket truck, put the fixtures on, put the globes on, put the bulbs in, and then run the electricity.
So the bulbs, have they been ordered?
No, no.
So don't worry about your bucket truck yet. That's where I was like, oh my God. Okay. How long will it take to get the bulbs?
I don't know, I don't even know what
Maybe
type,
that one.
I don't know what type bulb we even need. I know they said there was a specific bulb that had to be used because you can't see the bulb,
There is
so.
knowledge in
I just wanna get the fixtures up, the globes on, and electricity run,
Okay,
and then we can go from there.
okay. All right.
Anything else on that topic? In the parks, other parks, there's the bass tournament Saturday, a weigh-in. I think they're gonna weigh in out at the
lake.
at the lake. There was a discussion about the issue about where they weigh in at. And they'll still come in and
They
eat.
can't transport the fish
Right.
to the park.
Anything else on parks?
On those bulbs, so we don't even know how much those bulbs are gonna cost?
No. I have no
Because
idea.
my concern is getting free fixtures, maybe they're free for a reason.
No.
Maybe the
no.
bulbs
Those
are pretty
fixtures are
expensive.
not
No,
free.
they weren't free for a reason. Someone was getting a new tennis court,
Uh-huh.
and they took down the old, and they had a grant, so they gave them to us, and it came from Cersei. And that's
Oh,
three,
These are brand new fixtures.
these are 3 years ago, but we've been trying to work on, it's taken us that long. I mean, unfortunately, it has, but they are brand new and in the box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they, I've had
They
them
just had some leftover.
stored.
Yeah, had them stored.
So we got it through a grant?
Well,
But there's a specific kind of bulb that has to go in them with a specific light, because apparently you can't see that ball coming at you at 100 miles an hour. Which makes sense. I mean, you're hitting a yellow ball, so I don't know. I've never played tennis. I have no idea. I couldn't see it in the daylight.
Anything else? Streets.
Everything's going good. If anybody's got any questions, I mean, we run some brush today, and I'm gonna kick them out tomorrow, run some more. We about got everything mowed up. We gotta head into Choctaw. We've got one pass, I think, on everything. And I'm coming back in behind and doing the second pass, so. If anybody's got any questions, we're fixing to be working on Christmas lights.
Anything else for Charles? Nope. Okay, brings us to Police Department, Chief Jay Murdoch.
I only got a couple quick things. Excuse me, this Saturday at 7 p.m., they're doing Bucking for the Blue again. That's to raise money. It's a not-for-profit to, police departments, to sheriff's departments, or whoever needs equipment. They try to provide that. That'll be 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Oaf Ranch. I encourage everybody to come out. The other thing outside of my report is the Arkansas Department of Public Safety is putting out about $500,000 worth of grant money. That's everybody in the state can apply for that. Anybody that's a law enforcement agency, Department of Corrections, State Police, or even us. So I'm going to try to apply for a little bit of that to try to get dash cameras put in our cars. That'll help for prosecution and other things. Other than that, if you have any questions.
Anything for Jay? Thank you, sir. Brings us to Water and Sewer Department report, Will Hinchy.
All right, so, Clinton Water Department would like to announce that our water loss is 25% for the whole Clinton area, including Burnt Ridge and Denard. Denard, helped us out this month. We actually were 18% water loss at Denard. So we actually had fixed several things, out that direction. Spent a little time out there, so we're down to 18% at Denard. The manganese in the lake has went down, settled down, so we're not feeding so much permanganate at the water plant. So our cost per thousand is down to 10 cents, down from 16. So that's another good thing. We have posted out in the papers an advertisement to get rid of the truck. We're going to take sealed bids dropped off at City Hall for a Dodge 1-ton. It's a 2008 Dodge Ram 1-ton 4-wheel drive. It's got 28,000 miles on it, and we've got a reserve for 14,000. So if anybody'd like to put in a bid on that thing, we'll take sealed bids, and we'll be having that bid opening on the 27th at 9 a.m. at City Hall. As far as projects go, we're still waiting on parts on the pole yard. They contacted me, wanting to know if I had a place to store them. I said, yeah, I'll bring them on. They said as soon as we get them, we'll have them delivered there. So supplies is short on our end. We're having trouble. I'm sure everybody's having trouble, but like the mayor talked earlier, we talked to a sales guy today. We tried to order some 2-inch tees, and you can't get any 2-inch tees in the state of Arkansas right now. They're backward. So it's getting to the point where we're just gonna have to rely on what we got in storage. So, we're gonna have to get creative, maybe eventually. We will keep you in water, but we may have to get creative. But it will happen. Well, there is several things. It started out just being a few things, and now it just keeps adding up. Everything that we're not able to get, we are putting in an order for, so maybe eventually when it does get shipped over here, come off the boat, we'll have some. But we're still staying afloat pretty good. We have bulked up on our storage there at the warehouse, so.
You said tonight, that you're kind of working with other water departments, you know. y'all-
We do have a bunch of things that we've kind of taken out of our system that we don't use anymore, but we have a lot of it in stock. And we do have some areas that still use it, and they're borrowing it from us and replacing it. And we're having sales guy come and pick it up so they know we have it and don't use it, and they're bringing us stuff that we need. So a lot of the water systems are working together. You know, it's not to the point where, and it may get to that point, it's not to the point where I can't call someone down the road and say, I'm out of this, can I have it? But it could get to the point where they don't want to let that go because they know it's going to be a shortage. But right now, everybody's working together good. We've been working with B Branch a lot, and so we're doing good right now. I do want to tell you, I passed out a new pay increase for a rate increase. The rate increases was voted on 3 years ago. Every October that it went up 5%. So this October it did go up another 5%. So I do have this, and I've got one extra copy. I'll make sure that papers get some if they need it. But if you want to call the office, you won't get this bill in the mail until December. So you won't actually pay a bill with the increase until December. But we did put it out on our bills that it was going up 5%, and we posted it on Facebook. So I didn't want anybody to be surprised for an additional 5% increase. But you know, you can call the office if you want to and say how much could we see it going up, and we can let you know. But I did give each one of the city council members a copy, just in case. I know you guys get phone calls, you know, how much do I expect it to go up, so. You know, inside residential without sewer, you're looking at about $1.08 on the minimum. And that, you know, I have it broke down to if you use 2,000 gallons, 3,000 gallons, it's all printed out there. So it'll be in front of the girls in the office if you want to call. So it is a 5% increase on the minimum and the per thousand.
Backing up, clarification on that pole yard, you know, I have questions on that, and you told me you've had the money set aside, you're ready to do it, you got the money, it's paid for.
Yes.
Just waiting on parts.
Yes,
correct?
when we put out the bids, we accepted the bids, and we had a set price on what materials everything was, and we do have that money set aside. Yeah.
Just waiting on.
Yes, and it is not, it's been taken out of the 10-year plan, so, you know, when we do take that bond out, that money is not, these pay increase, or rate increases are not going towards the pole yard. Pole yard's already paid for.
And I think I've mentioned, I don't know if I've mentioned to everybody, as far as the bond presentation, what they've come up with, what Dan Lovelady and Bob Wright, they were wanting to come up on the 26th, which is a budget meeting for us. And I said, I'll talk to the council, I'd bring it up tonight. And you don't have to decide tonight, but I'd like to definitely have them come up on the 26th. We're set for a budget meeting, and have them come up here at 6 o'clock and present that. Then, depending on how long it goes, you don't have to make a decision. I mean, like, how much money we need for the 10-year plan, how much we can borrow, how much we actually want to, whatever you're comfortable with. I do want to mention that, if that's okay, we'll do that the 26th on Tuesday right here, if that's good for the council. I don't think I have to have a vote on that.
No, we'll schedule our budget meeting for the 27th.
Yeah, and maybe, like I say, if their presentation is, you know, quick, we can go right into that too. If that's good with the council. We'll get that. Go ahead, sorry.
That's about it. I mean, the only other thing that I would go out with him is, you know, these rate increases were done just to take those bonds out. So this rate increase is to pay for those bonds. This would be the third increase since we voted on that, and we've still not taken out the bond. So I will say that when he projected us the numbers, we originally said that we would take 2 bonds, $5 million and $5 million. When he gave me the numbers, he projected the 10 million all at one time. I'm sure and that's what he'll present to you guys. That would be totally up to you guys. It would not be my recommendation. I do not want to put the water department on any kind of financial strain all at one time. So I've run the numbers. We can make the payments, but you gotta look at interest rates are low right now, and that's why they're recommended that, so. So I'm sure that'll be all in their talk when they come.
When we, originally worked on this, we talked about may not need to do rate increases 2-3 years down the road. We're still doing it, we've never really had much of a meeting on kind of where we're at with how things are rolling now, so.
That came up tonight
Yeah,
to me.
we originally said that we would do 3 increases
trying
and
to get
then
there.
look at it, yeah. But my recommendation is to take the bond because that's what depends on the rate increases.
This is the third one, so this is the year.
This is the third, this will be the third increase, yes.
And it was said, and I do remember third year, and I remember saying, well, 2 or 3 years into it, we'll see where we're at.
Yeah.
Clarifying that.
I just checking on that, we need, I wanted to go to the meeting today, but my phone got jacked and I had to go have that fixed first. Because I had somebody.
Hey.
The bond
Somebody
companies
got a hold of it.
we've sent all of our information, they looked at our last 2 years of audits, because we put it off, taking out the bond. So in looking at that, they think that we can take the 10. If they think that we can take the 10, and they might be able to talk about it a little bit more in detail than what I can. I'm all for not doing increases, we don't have to. But, we gotta do the increases to pay for the bonds, and the bonds is for that 10-year plan. That's what the bonds.
With the new engineering change, is any of that 10-year plan gonna change with the new engineering company and?
Right now, we're actually working with 2 engineering companies, because the current engineer company that we did the 10-year plan with and that is working on some of their projects, they have split. And we've come into a little issue where they really can't do sewer design, mechanical design like that. So we're actually working with the side that split also, which is Salt Engineering. We haven't brought anything. We talked to the water board about it. Salt Engineering was already working on our wastewater projects and stuff like that. So that's who we're working with. Yeah. Right now, the switch has been really smooth. I was actually glad to see that because those 2 broke apart. But we're able to work with our wastewater side with one, and eventually we could actually work with either one of them,
And you said
I like
earlier,
being able to not have all my,
Eggs in one
Yes,
basket.
and you said earlier at the meeting that $10 million won't even touch the 10-year plan.
Yes, I mean, I don't want you to not think that we don't need all the 10 million. I don't, but my deal is we might not wanna take all 10 million at one time. I don't wanna jump that far into it.
But
That's
it's
my
something-
recommendation.
It's something to consider whenever we're talking about not doing rate increases, because we
Yeah,
don't wanna stop doing
it
rate
is.
increases, and we got,
So
half
far,
the
what's
10-year
on the
plan.
10-year plan, 10 million won't cover it all.
Well,
And we've got this wastewater improvement that we're gonna have to be forced to do with the new CAP plan, with the wastewater plan.
what I don't like is when we first did this, before you, previous department heads, pull yard plan was 200,000, and then before it got done, it's 400,000. And I know increases and comes up and whatnot, but I wanna see something that I can physically see that has been done. Instead of just throwing a whole load of money, can we take 2 miles of stretch and, hey, we rebuilt this. Now we're gonna go do another 2 mile or whatever.
well, we've
I don't
done
know.
5 or 6 projects before we even got a rate increase.
I understand that, but I still ain't seen it,
The
it's
only
been,
project that's not completed that we
the
funded
pole
was
yard's
the pole
been
yard.
4
Yeah,
years
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's still.
That's the only
trying
one,
to
but all
get
the other,
finished.
all the other ones have been done.
Mhm.
We did the sewer under the grocery store, we did the,
Mhm.
Honey Hill, we did the over there on 65B.
I'm just saying, I hate to say, okay, well, we're gonna be $10 million in the hole just for, 10 years down the road. I want something now, and then we'll get something next year and something next year, but, hey, I'm only one person.
Yeah, the 10-year plan, and I'll bring another updated one, and we'll try to have it at that meeting too. Make sure we have it. It does say, in this year, this amount to be spent, and these projects to be done, And then this year, this amount will be spent. Now, I do wanna say, the pole yard's still not done because we can't get parts. So I don't wanna make a whole lot of promises that I can't, but I want to see improvements made too. There's some of them's got to be done, you know, so.
But it seems like after tonight's meeting, there might need to be some shifting on, because it sounds like the sewer side needs a lot more work.
It does, I mean, and I'll tell you, I've been here for 2 years, and we've changed that 10-year plan every month.
Well, and that's
Because
part of
something
my,
comes- Yeah, something
that's
comes
part of
up-
my thoughts
Something
is
comes
that.
up new, guys, I'll tell you, something comes up new that put that tank being painted on the back, you know, we have to put it back and do something immediately. And this new wastewater improvement deal is gonna be it's gonna be a huge amount. I will say that, and right now, we're just breaking even in wastewater. And on the sewer side of it, it is very expensive. You get to thinking about it, I have to take sewer waste and it has to be treated and be almost drinkable to put back into the stream, and it costs a little bit of money. But now they're adding that cadmium to us, and it, like I talked in our meeting earlier, cadmium is a natural metal that's found in the ground, but it's harmful to fish. And ADUQ has put it upon Clinton Water Department and Sewer Department to take the cadmium out of the water before it goes into the stream. And it's not gonna be an easy process. We're looking at multi-million-dollar wastewater plant, and it's nothing that we want to do.
Well, and
ADUQ
from
is forcing
what
us to
I'm also hearing, a lot of that cadmium is coming from the groundwater that's infiltrated into our sewer lines.
It is.
It's like our infrastructure is
It is.
in bad.
So we got
shape.
two options, we can spend a lot of money at the treatment facility, or we can spend a lot of money in the collection system. So there is gonna be some money spent on that, so, and in that 10-year plan, minimum of that 10-year plan was wastewater. But now it's gonna have to be, we're gonna have to switch some of that.
Yeah, so I guess that's part of my deal.
Yeah, and
I
I'll
hate
be
saying
completely upfront.
10
with the
years
board.
and
Yeah, I'll be
5 years
completely
we've
upfront
changed
with the
it.
board and the public. I want this stuff improved. I really do. And I said this before when we did these rate increases. I didn't want to do rate increase the first year I was here. That's not what I come on
Dickie
board
made the
for.
point, he's been here a lot of years and he's went through a whole lot of 10-year plans, and it's just testimony that the infrastructure has a lot of stuff wrong with it in a lot of different places.
And it's not
at the
just
same
our
time.
system.
I'm kinda like
You know,
Jeff, and
It's every
it's
system in
like
the state.
the infiltration is just devastating, but there's a whole lot of other things that come up. I mean, you're finally in the black, which is good.
Yes.
You can't do anything about lack of parts for the.
The water department and sewer department is standing on our own. We're not having to ask the city council for money, and that was the goal, so. But I do think that we need to take the bond to make the improvements, because that's what we promised the public. We promised the public when we did these rate increases. The first rate increase, I want to make sure everybody knows that, the very first one was more than 5%. And that was to get the water department in the black, because we were in the red for the last 3 years. So we got in the black with the first increase, and then the 5% for the 6 years was to take out the bonds. So we got the water department into the black, out of the red, and now it's time to do some work on the infrastructure.
Did you say 6 years?
6 years. That's what the original ordinance that you guys passed with the 5% increase
For 6 years.
was 6 years.
I guess.
Including the first one, which was.
Yeah, because I remember 5 years, but
It'd be a 5 additional
that
years.
was 5 additional, so we still have 2 more years at 5%.
Yeah, and you said in 3 years,
We still
we
have
look at
3
it,
more
and
after this one.
2 to 3.
In the ordinance.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
the
true.
ordinance can be amended.
Okay, anything else under water department? We'll hit you. Thank you. Brings us to zoning department, or Tim Clark.
Okay, so like Richard said, the Metro Bass Tournament on Saturday, they Game and Fish changed the regulation this year, so they can't transport fish in their live wells to the park. So they will have to do the weigh-in there and then just come to the park to eat. Something about, you gotta drain your water there at the lake, 'cause they don't want you to go to another lake, fish there, and then drain one lake's water into another lake. So, but it worked out okay, and so Saturday about 3 o'clock. If anybody wants the full experience to see a bunch of boats, there'll probably be about 80 guys that we'll be feeding. Just come on down about 3 o'clock and we'll be partying like rock stars. Went to the Fall Floodplain Conference last month. Got to spend a lot of time with Lee at FTN. Part of the delay on these flood maps is they're taking a little more time on the hydrology studies. And he said that's a good thing because the more they study them, the less runoff they're finding, and the less runoff means less floodplain. So I was happy about that and told him, you know, whatever you got to do. He assured me that before the end of the year, he will have models for us to look at. But I've dealt with this long enough to know that that is an absolute for sure maybe.
Yeah, I think that's in there last year.
So that is a guaranteed maybe. By the end of the year, he'll be here showing us the models of what they found before it goes to FEMA for final approval. So, you know, that's where we are on that. You really just can't hurry them. And we've got another Walmart remodel coming up. I don't know exactly when they're going to start that. I think this is their third remodel this year. And I haven't seen plans, so I don't know what they're going to do. The new Mexican restaurant is slated to open in November. That's optimistic where they're at, but it could very well happen. H&R Block, they're just doing finished work on the inside. They should be done in November for sure. Do you want me to go into this zoning stuff now or later?
Just, no, I think that's, no, we'll just do it later. Or you
Okay.
can, if it's,
I mean, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
you can.
I'm out of order, so we'll do it later. Okay, well, that's all I got for now.
Anything else for Kim Clark? Thank you. Brings us down to unfinished business, old business. This is the second reading for ordinance for levying the millage. An ordinance levying a 2.9 mil real and personal property tax for general operations of the city of Clinton, Arkansas, and for other purposes. We have left this the same for year after year. Councilman Pistol brought up a long time ago about bringing up, once we get more revenue coming in from alcohol sales, if it's feasible and viable, if it's offset, I'm paraphrasing, you can jump in anytime, he'd like to see maybe getting away with this millage or at least reducing it. We're still crunching numbers on what that is. We have another reading on this. We were out there today. I'll entertain a motion second to put this on the second reading by title only. Or I'll read it. I'll entertain a motion second to put this on the second reading.
I make a motion, we put it on second reading.
I'll second it.
Second, any discussion? This is the ordinance levying a 2.9 mil real and personal property tax for general operations of the city of Clinton, Arkansas, and for other purposes, whereas the city of Clinton, Arkansas is required to pass an ordinance setting forth the millage rate for property taxes to be collected for the city of Clinton, Arkansas in the next year, and whereas the city of Clinton, Arkansas desires that the property tax for the year 2021 will be set at the same level and assessed and collected in 2022, and whereas such an ordinance must be passed and provided to the Van Buren County's assessors and collections offices by the time of the Van Buren County Quorum Court's November meeting. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of Clinton, Arkansas. Section 1, the City of Clinton, Arkansas hereby levies and assesses a 2.9 mil property tax on real property and personal property in Van Buren County as prescribed by law for the year 2021, which tax shall be collected by Van Buren County, Arkansas. Any other discussion on that? I'll ask for a vote.
Bradley?
Yes.
Hastings?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Pistol?
Yes.
Ward?
Yes.
Okay, brings us down to a new business resolution for approving bids for City Hall remodeling. This is I need a motion, a second for this. This is a resolution approving City Hall remodeling, where the City of Clinton publishes notice of accepting bids for remodel of the new City Hall building, and whereas the deadline to bids was April 28, 2020. Whereas there were no bids received for certain services until all deadlines, until after the bid deadlines. And whereas the mayor has received and selected late bidders that the best serve the Clinton city's interests. And whereas there is a need to confirm the mayor's selection and award contracts and selected bidders. Now, therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas hereby confirms the selection of award and contracts of the following bidders for remodeling City Hall. I believe this is an addition, 4 bidders that wasn't on the original resolution. It was for drywall, Michael L. Kyle, masonry, Jose Rule Ibarra, exterior painting, Jose Rule Ibarra, and interior painting, Scott Bothwell. I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve these names for the bids, which the work has been done, but they were.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Second, any discussion on that? I'll ask for a vote.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
2021-09.
This is, the next item is approval of the final invoice for the City Hall remodel. I'll read this. Whereas the City of Clinton published notice that it was accepting bids to remodel the new City Hall building. Whereas the deadline for bids was April 28, 2020, and whereas James Reed submitted a bid for job foreman services to be paid at the rate of 10% of the total project, and whereas the City Hall remodel project is complete and James Reed has submitted a final invoice for the job foreman services, and whereas there is a need to confirm James Reed as job foreman and authorize payment for this final invoice, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, Section 1, the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas hereby confirms the selection of James Reed as job foreman for City Hall remodeling project. And Section 2, the final invoice submitted by James Reed and attached hereto as Exhibit A and the approved for payment. He has his final bill here. It says final invoice for all work finalizes at 10/12/2021. Any additional work will be billed at $110 per hour. Gives the total for the final bill at $14,329.99. Am I reading that correct? James, and you can step up and say, I think you did a great job. I'm happy with it. I think anything that we have left, I think there's a vent that's.
Yeah, we'll take care of it tomorrow. We've got it already, and the work's been worked on. I just want to say thanks for letting us take care of the City Hall. I think it turned out good. If you hadn't seen it, you need to go by and look at it. We tried to save as much money as we could. From people that did the bidding to start with, like, I know that one that really sticks out in my mind as I'm looking through this tonight was Swenson Electric. We saved $5,000 just by changing from these kind of lights to a more modern LED light. It makes it brighter, it's better, they're more replaceable. Like all he's got to do, if one goes out, you just go in and take it loose, unplug it, stick it back in, plug it back in, and it's ready to go again. It's no more than just changing a light bulb. It's easy as that. These older lights have ballast and stuff in them, and the new ones don't. But the new ones are so much more expensive, and they don't put off any more light than what we put in. They do a little bit, but not as much, and it's more light like this, like where Tim's desk is, we've got some lights right over the top of his desk. Where Dina's desk is, where the mayor's desk is, it's more lit where it's easier to work, or easier to see. Through using Davis Cash Lumber and Gary, we saved at least $3,000 just using my account, running it through my account. Saved y'all 10% over the whole project. Using some of the guys that we use every day, we saved it, and we got them there when we needed them there. That's a big part. And now I've had lots of friends that say, hey, I'm going to contract my own house. That's fine, go ahead, but good luck getting the guys that I use every day to come help you whenever they're working for me and they can't break loose and then come right straight to you. It just worked out really good. I think we did it in a timely manner, and besides Dina, I think we made everybody happy.
I'm very happy
Did a
with the
fantastic
work y'all
job.
did.
Yeah,
And
what did
so
you
is
say?
she.
I'm just kidding.
And her and Alicia did a really good job of laying it out. I mean, there was a lot of money saved and, you know, hire somebody to lay it out, and they got over there, and I kinda hated their layout at first. I thought this, and I'm wrong. It turned out really good.
Did somebody get that on record?
Yeah.
Will you say that one more time?
But now, we did, and about the only thing left is I'm gonna have someone look at the roof. The roof's in good shape.
Yes,
And,
it's in good shape.
Tomlinson said that, they were, hey, the roof it's in good shape, and they were almost apologetic to the condition that it was in on a building, 2 buildings that they gave the city hall. So they didn't have to do that. I'm still grateful for that. I think y'all did a great job. And we came in for this whole ball of wax, you know, we had one time pushed it up to maybe 200,000.
Yes.
We just broke 150 a little bit, 157 or something, what that total is, and I'm happy with that. Quality of work is really good, and you don't have to, I'm glad you did explain that, but I'm very happy.
I was just trying to make it where it's pretty transparent.
Yeah, downtown's looking good, too, everything
yeah.
y'all's touching.
The sign turned out great. Wes Swenson's gonna come in. That's one thing that we have to do still. He's gonna put a dawn to dusk sensor on it. So like it'll come on at dusk and it'll go off at dawn and it'll come on every day. The LED lights, it's gonna cost you probably maybe $10 a year to run that thing. It won't take hardly any electricity to run what we put up. If anything ever goes wrong with it, we'll make sure we can get it fixed.
All of our subs, I mean, they'll come if there's a problem.
Yes.
Anything,
Yeah.
any questions?
Any questions? All right. Thanks for letting me do it.
A motion and second to approve.
I said you did a really good job.
Yeah, they did, and I'll tell you, they did a good job laying out. I'm happy, like I say, come down and look at it. Now, the ultimate other question is, when are we gonna be in there? I don't know, I'm not answering that, because everybody's timing is wrong, you know, so as soon as we can, we'll get through this budget, because we're fixing to have to crunch a lot of numbers, and all of us spend a lot of time on that, and nobody's gonna get everything they want, but do the best we can. So, any other discussion on that? Got a motion and a second to approve that resolution. I'll ask for that if I haven't got that.
No.
Did we do
I
that?
don't think so.
Make a motion, we approve the final, I'll say.
Second, any other discussion?
If you're happy with it,
I'm happy.
all that matters.
And if y'all are
Dana's
happy with
happy.
it, you're paying for it. Yeah, she's happy. We need a couple of things. Thank you. You can get out of here, but see you tomorrow or whenever, but thank you. Nothing else, I'll call for a vote.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
2021-10.
While we're on this topic, since we come in so far under it, no, we did a good job. Issue came up with getting some fireproof filing cabinets. We've got a couple, and we were given a couple. They're not in the best of shape. I'd like to go ahead and talk to Dina. What do you need to house all these things, fireproof them, and keep your ordinances in? She said, I really think we need 2 filing cabinets. They're pricey, they're good, about $2,500 a piece. The entire cost for 2 fireproof filing cabinets, I don't know how much they weigh, but the delivery is free. We're trying to, I think we got free installation or free help, some help with that, I hope, and when they deliver them, yeah. For me, yeah, okay. Yeah. But anyway, I'd entertain a motion second to approve amount of $5,449.98 for these filing cabinets.
Would we still have that money in there from the money we already approved for the remodel?
Yeah,
Yes,
So we
but
don't-
when you purchase something like that, we still need
that was
we
not
still just
part
need to
of
get it
the
on there.
separate. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not, I don't need, okay.
This
to
is
do
office
that.
supplies.
Yeah.
I think we do it.
I'll make a motion, we get them.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
It says apply coupons. Do we have any coupons to apply to this?
Yeah.
It says apply
I didn't know I was
coupons.
putting them in. Nothing
No.
else?
So our ordinances are all on paper now, we don't do anything electronically, or?
You have to keep all
You have to keep
ordinances
them
on paper,
on paper.
and resolutions and minutes.
Okay.
they're permanent, I mean, forever.
I do it anyway.
You can't get rid of them even if you repeal them.
Right.
Wow.
Good idea.
And we do have them electronically if something was to happen, but you're still supposed to keep them paper copies.
I thought so, but I
Forever?
just wanted to make it clear for everybody. So they-
Exactly.
Forever?
Forever, they're permanent,
So we have,
from the very beginning.
even in the flood.
Yeah, read
There's still an
James
ordinance that
Beavers
says
was
you
married,
can't
some
walk a
good
dog
stuff.
in downtown Clinton.
Wow.
Yeah, get that on there, James. I mess around the cemetery and Sam Shannon Senior's records he has, notes he, I rely on them. It's pretty much invaluable when it comes down to it. That's about all you got, but anyway, that's all I got. I'll ask for a vote for that
Bradley,
purchase.
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Okay, brings us to an ordinance. This is to amend zoning regulations to prohibit mobile homes in certain zones. This is the first reading. I'll entertain, I'll let you just explain it, introduce it. This is, I'll let you just talk about it first. and then I'll-
Okay.
Yeah.
The zoning commission's been talking about this for a few months. The way the ordinance reads now, in our highway commercial zones, up and down Highway 65, our ordinance reads, what's allowed in R1 and R2 residential zones is also allowed in those highway commercial zones. Whatever we allow in those two residential zones, we allow there. R2 allows for mobile homes. So, as it reads now, if somebody wanted to put a mobile home on Highway 65, and live there, we would have to let them. And we don't want that. The zoning commission doesn't want mobile homes on Highway 65. And y'all know we've had some major cleanups with that took quite a while. Now, there were some other options that I threw out to the zoning commission, but this is the option they went with, to only allow mobile homes in R3 residential areas because, and some of these people on the commission have been there, I guess, since it was established. So when they zoned all this stuff, they said the original plan was mobile homes in R3 districts. And that is what they wanted to recommend.
Okay, maybe not order, but I'll entertain a motion in a second to put this on the first reading.
I'll make a motion to put it on first reading by title only.
I'll second
Second, I'll read,
What, we're gonna discuss it?
Yeah, we need to discuss.
we'll go ahead and discuss. I was gonna read it now, but anyway,
Oh, you're gonna read it before we discuss it?
I'll read the
Just
whole
by
thing.
title.
Unless it's,
You're gonna read the whole ordinance or just the?
yeah, it's not that long unless you want.
The motion was by title only.
The motion.
Oh,
was by title only.
okay.
At some point, we have to read the whole
But it was
ordinance.
the
I just
first
don't
reading.
know.
Right,
It was
and we've got
first.
3 chances
Yeah.
to read it. so.
Okay.
Entertain a motion second to put on the first reading. Yeah, first reading. That's what I'd like to read it.
We got this motion on the floor, right? What are we gonna do with it?
You have a motion on the
Pass
table.
it.
By title only, is what he said.
Okay.
Do you wanna rescind your motion or?
I can.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'll resume my motion.
If you like, rescind that and put it on the first reading?
Make a motion to put it on the first reading.
Okay. I'm
I'll
dying to
second
read
it.
this. I'm
I
gonna read this.
can't wait.
I'm gonna read this.
I'm so excited.
No, I agree. I'm gonna read this and I won't, and then Tim can talk about that map.
Somebody read the 3rd and 4th page.
Oh, yeah. An ordinance of the city of Clinton, Arkansas to amend zoning regulations to prohibit mobile homes in certain zones. Whereas the city of Clinton zoning regulations currently permit single-family mobile homes in residential zones R2 and R3. And whereas the city of Clinton zoning commission has recommended restricting mobile homes to residential zone R3. Now therefore be it ordained by the city council of the city of Clinton, Arkansas, section 1, title 14, chapter 14, .0403.03, Section 3.2 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clinton, Arkansas is hereby amended to read as follows. 3-2 Residential Zone R2 Description. The zone is residential, medium density in character and represents area for residential expansions in the City of Clinton. The predominant character of this zone is residential, protected from any commercial and industrial activities, except herein provided restrictions. Once a mobile/manufactured home is moved from or destroyed in residential zone R2, another cannot be placed on that lot or location. The Planning and Zoning Commission may grant an exception if the lot and home are occupied by the owner in his or her as his or her permanent residence, where it is evident that the site-built structure would cause an undue hardship. If an exception is granted, the replacement must meet the design standards set forth in 14.04.02 mobile homes. Permitted uses. A, all uses permitted in residential zone R-1. B, two-family structures. C, boarding and rooming houses. D, bed and breakfast inn. Conditional uses. The following uses are permitted subject to review and conditions of the Planning and Zoning Commission. A, neighborhood parks and playgrounds. B, churches with off-street parking and screening. C, libraries with off-street parking and screening. D, public buildings with off-street parking. E, public and non-profit schools with off-street parking and screening. F, utility substations, if no staff is required and screening is provided. G, home occupations is defined in 14.0402. Home occupations, subject to the requirements of section 5 through 6. H, hospitals and convalescent home with off-street parking. Kindergartens and child nurseries, if off-street loading and unloading of children is provided. J, row dwellings or townhouses, provided that 1, land is platted for this purpose, with such plat covering all land area having continuous common street frontage and located on one side of a street between intersecting streets and or alleys designating individual lots, including the end units for given structure, as well as any common ownership areas which may be provided or required. 2, density does not exceed that provided in this residential zone. 3, common areas under control or jurisdiction of property owners association, one established for the purpose of complying with and maintaining density standards was set forth. At least 60% of such common areas shall be at all times devoted to landscaping, green areas, or recreation, and the balance may be used for off-street parking, common service facilities, and appropriate accessory uses. 4, no row dwellings or townhouse structures has less than 3 dwelling units or an overall length exceeding 250 feet. Accessory uses, structures and uses deemed accessory and permitted to the principal structure in use by the Planning and Zoning Commission, not detrimental to the character of the zone and subject to the provisions of this zone. Agricultural crops, including truck gardens and accessory use farming and orchards for growing or propagating plants and trees and shrubs and temporary stands and structures for seasonal sale of products raised on the premises. This does not include the raising for sale of fowls, birds, rabbits, or other animals, and fish or other creatures. Minimum lot area. A, single family, 9,000 square feet. B, two-family structure, 10,000 square feet. C, row dwellings or townhouse, 2,000 square feet for the first 2 family units, plus 1,800 square feet for each additional family unit. D, churches, 1 platted city block, 300 square feet or 3 acres if land is not platted. Maximum lot coverage. The combined area of the principal building and any accessory building shall not cover more than 40% of the development lot area, except that row dwelling may cover up to 60% of the individual lot. Minimum lot width. A, road dwelling 30 feet at building line. B, all other permitted uses 50 feet at building line. Minimum front yard. A, road dwelling 15 feet from property line except where off-street parking or garage approach is provided in the front yard, in which case of the building shall be set back a minimum of 25 feet from the property line or 55 feet from the center line of the existing right-of-way, whichever is greater. B, all other permitted uses 25 feet from the property line or 55 feet from the center line of existing right-of-way, whichever is greater. Minimum side yard, 7.5 feet from each interior property line. B, corner lot shall have a minimum of 15 feet from the side street property line or 40 feet from the center line of existing side street right-of-way, whichever is greater. Maximum rear yard, 15 feet from rear property line. Maximum height of structure, 2 stories, not to exceed 30 feet. Off-street parking. The off-street parking requirement of Article 4 shall apply. Loading and unloading. The loading and unloading area requirements of Article 4 shall apply. Section 2, savings repeal. That all other ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict with this ordinance are repealed to the extent of such conflict. And Section 3, servability. That should any word, sentence, clause, paragraph, or provision of this ordinance be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, the remaining provisions of this ordinance shall remain in full force and effect. That's the ordinance, that's the law.
Now, can I make a couple comments just about the
Yes.
structure of the ordinance? Okay, so our code provision on R2 is just restated in this ordinance in its entirety, because that's the only way you can really amend it. The only change is one line under permitted uses. There used to be a line, it goes A, B, C, D, it used to be E, mobile homes. That's just been deleted. And then there's the addition of this restriction paragraph, which is essentially a grandfather clause. If someone has a mobile home in R2, I don't want to stress this so everyone understands this. If there is an existing mobile home in R2, they do not have to remove that mobile home just because this ordinance passes. If the mobile home was removed down, later on, they would not be able to put in a new mobile home unless there is a provision where they can do that, where they go to the Planning and Zoning Commission and ask for an exception due to undue hardship. But, so just for everyone to be very clear to understand that, existing mobile homes would not be forced to be removed because of any passage of anything. So I just want to be really clear about that. And there are no other changes to R2, that's the only change, it's just being restated.
That's only R2, is that R3 too?
R3, there's no change to R3.
There's no change in R3.
Correct.
So I am understanding R1 and R2, no mobile homes, R3 there is.
If passed, yeah, if passed.
So that's basically almost the entire city of Clinton, because I don't see very much R3 on this map, except for 2 little areas.
There's 3. One down on the south end of town.
I see one on the south end of town, I see one on the west side here. Where's the other one?
And down here.
You got 2 up
Down
top.
there.
There's Cedar Crest, Town Branch,
Yeah.
and Burnt Ridge.
Right.
That's R2.
Oh, on the other side of the road.
That's R3 there.
No.
Other side of the road.
That's R2. This is R3.
Oh,
This is
your
R3.
back's turned around right here. This one, this one.
This is north, isn't it?
And this, yeah.
That's not turned around. North
Well,
is.
turn from the way I'm looking at
Yeah,
it.
right.
Turn from the way I'm looking at it.
City's
This
list.
one, and this.
Okay, so you got 3.
Town Branch would be, was that up at Henderson, did you say? Tim?
So,
95.
Like this.
McIntyre subdivision over there.
and the zoning commission wanted to do this, why?
They,
Because of the highway, they don't want mobile homes on the highway?
right, they don't want them on Highway
So why didn't we just
65.
change the zoning for the commercial to not include mobile homes?
That was an option that I threw out to them if they wanted to say, middle of Highway 65, 500 feet in either direction, no mobile homes.
Mostly, but this way it does R2 and commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way the commercial zone is set up is any use within R2 is allowed within C1.
Why
So,
can't we just change
Sometimes the
that?
commercial.
we could, this is the recommendation.
We not already
You don't
have an
to.
ordinance on mobile homes? R2 could have, right? But that'd be a certain age when they were put in
That'd
or
be
so?
10 years old or less,
Yeah.
had to be at least 840 square feet interior space.
So then what do we do if this passes, and in the future, somebody wants to be annexed into the city and they've got a mobile home, we just don't do it? We don't get to annex them, or what?
It would be the grandfather clause.
They'd be an existing structure.
But they're not grandfathered inside the city limits because they're not in the city. If they're getting added to the city, then they're adding a mobile home to the city limits.
Well, no, if the city, no, we're talking about adding as in like moving it into the building itself. If you're annexing in, you'd be accepting them, annexing them.
I just don't wanna hinder
usage.
in the future trying to get annexation is kind of a thing we need to work towards, and I don't wanna hinder
Well,
new annexation, you know?
you could annex them as an R3.
Yeah.
What would keep it the same?
I mean, I'm not trying to talk you into doing.
So what
I'm
is the
just saying
difference, so what
you
is the
could-
difference in R2 and R3? What's the use?
The basic difference in R2 and R3,
Yeah.
well, R3 is a less dense area of the city, and it's on the outskirts. The further in you
But I
get,
mean, as
the
far as
more,
rules and regulations in R2 versus rules and regulations in R3 besides the mobile home thing.
basically whatever you can have in R1 and R2, you can have in R3.
It's the least restrictive zone.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, what can you have in R2 that you can't have in R3?
Nothing.
Or what can you
What
have in
can you
R3
have
that
in
you can't have in
Now, the way
R2?
it stands, nothing.
It's just he's just saying less populated, less.
I guess I'm gonna be down there talking to you about this. There's a lot of things that, yeah. And remember, I'm part of, as a city council person, I'm assigned to zoning, and I wasn't informed of the last meeting. I like to know when those meetings are, because I like to go to them. Because this kind of stuff, I like to get out in front of it. I don't like to find out about it the week of the city council meeting.
First Thursday every month.
All right.
Has been for years.
Yeah, that was my question, when are the meetings, first Thursday of every month, right here? What
Well, if they're
time?
like the A&P meetings, they don't always happen on the time they're supposed to happen.
Last Thursday every month, has been for years.
And I think it was voted on at the August meeting, am I right? I mean, it was the recommendation that this be presented to the council, I think it was
Yes.
maybe August.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so, I mean, they've had 3 meetings where they've discussed it, I know. I went to the one in October, which is late in the ordinance.
So do we need a motion to table it?
Well, it's just the first reading.
It's on the first reading, there's no action to be taken
I'll
today.
vote on it, and if you wanna go and change it and amend it.
I mean, that's what the 3 reading process is about,
That's why I said I'd be down at his office talking to him.
yeah.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Roundtree,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yeah.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Brings us to final and new business is an ordinance repealing the ordinance number 2000-526, dedicating sales tax revenue to sewer expansion, putting on the first reading. I'll entertain a motion a second to put this on the first reading.
Make a motion, we put it on first reading? Second.
I'll read this and then we'll discuss it. This is an ordinance repealing an ordinance number 2005-26, dedicating sales tax revenue to sewer expansion. Whereas the City of Clinton ordinance number 2005-26 set aside a portion of sales tax revenue for sewer expansion as part of a sewer rate schedule since 2005. And whereas this ordinance was amended in ordinance number 2016-03, expanded the use of sales tax funds set aside to any purpose necessary for sewer system maintenance, operation, expansion, or other purpose. And whereas the Clinton sewer system is now receiving revenue through existing sewer rates rates that can support sewer expansion, and whereas sales tax revenue is needed for other services within the city, and whereas the city's desire to repeal the ordinance setting aside sales tax revenue for sewer expansion and the 2016 amendment. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, that ordinance number 2005-26 and 2016-03 are hereby repealed. The sewer expansion fund shall be closed, and all funds held therein shall be transferred to the Clinton Water Department Sewer Fund. Is there any discussion? I think this came about as we revamped our water and sewer and started increasing our revenue, and they're able to stand on their own. We're still collecting that sewer money, which is approximately $1,200 to $1,500 a month. Dina, is that in the ballpark? And we've been putting that in account, and I think in 16 we changed it because we needed some work over here by the airport, and we said, instead of just expansion, any maintenance, because I think we needed a pump station or something, and we did that. But this would just move the money that we've set aside since, I guess, 2005, and since then, that's in an account that can only be used by the Water and Sewer Department with your approval. We would just take that money. I guess we're just getting rid of this, and that money would go to the Water and Sewer Department. They would stand on their own, which would basically increase the revenue for the city that much per month. That's what this is about. Any other discussion?
I make a motion, we put this on the first reading so we can discuss it.
We just read it.
I mean,
We have a
I put it
motion
on
second.
the, I put it on
We have a
the first
motion
reading.
second.
we have a motion second?
Yeah.
There's no vote on the reading.
Any discussion?
We did it before you read it?
Mhm.
Okay. We don't usually do it that way.
It was Friday.
Yeah.
So this is gonna gain $1,200, $1,500 a month, taking it from this to the city,
Yes,
taking it back to the city.
yes.
Okay.
And how much is in that, Dina? Approximately 200?
What?
How much is in
money
that
revenue
account?
is in there?
213,000 and some odd dollars.
Over 200,000.
Yeah.
And it's $1,500 a month income?
Probably about 12.
And it's
1,200?
been since
Somewhere around
2005.
What it is, in that ordinance, it states that the city, the water department first sends us a bill at the end of the month saying how many customers they had for sewer. And then in turn, we write a check from city general, from sales tax, and put it in the sewer expansion fund. And then the sewer expansion fund can only be spent for sewer expansion until they, changed the ordinance and amended it. Then it can do for any sewer. So now, we won't be doing that if this passes.
Is this the same ordinance that we brought up about 2 years ago as far as repealing it and instead giving that money to the fire department because of the loss of the $1.50 on the water bill?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Ding, ding.
That Tim's not here. He was the one that was.
Is it gonna circulate back to the fire department, or is it just gonna go in the city? And
It could go to the general, but then we would have that money when we do our budget to go back and to do each individual department heads. That's, in my mind, is what I was thinking.
To answer your question, it won't be earmarked for the fire department unless we put it in the ordinance.
But-
that's where I'm going with this, because that's how this all got brought up, this ordinance did.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for about 2 years,
Yeah.
seems like.
But,
Probably longer.
Because that was the deal, it was a setup, it was almost a wash for the $1.50 that we lost off the
it's
water.
$1.50 that you lost,
Yeah.
that the fire department lost, because it's the end of the water bill.
Yeah.
So,
The only thing is, the way Dina described it, it's not a set amount of money, it's based on the number of customers the sewer department had. So,
That's a
we
dollar
just
and a
have to
half
use
was-
it, just take a base dollar amount, if you wanted to, allocate that to the fire department. We said, well, just take a number and that's it.
Well, the $1.50 was per customer.
we went
It's
straight to
based
the
off the
fire.
same thing, off their customer account would be the offset of the $1.50.
What I'm saying is, I don't think we can
Set
legally
up,
make
yeah.
an ordinance to
No, you got
appropriate money to the fire department based on what the sewer department has.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
This could be a clearinghouse.
Yeah.
It has to be a clearinghouse to give them
Yeah.
that money.
Yeah.
But then again, is it gonna come back as an ordinance to the fire department next, or is it just gonna go into general?
Right now, it's just going to general.
Right now, it's going into
It's
general.
not even going into general, it'll just stay in general, cause it comes from general and goes to expansion
There
sewer.
won't be anything coming out of general going into this
No.
account, correct?
No.
But instead of going into general,
We
we
could
have to
start
ask
a
for
new
another
ordinance.
ordinance to move it to the fire department, if that's
Or
what.
we could just simply
Y'all
say, how
wanna
much
do?
money is it in the year? It looks like it's about 14.4. And we could just add that money to the fire department budget at budget
That's right.
time. You know, that'd be the easiest way to do it.
Okay, I didn't give them the money, it's the budget, when we're doing budget, and
Now,
then
we're working on budgets.
we're working on budgets, you know?
Good.
Yes. Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote on first reading.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Brings us to public comments. Any public comment? Randy,
No, sir.
appreciate you being here.
There you go.
No, brings us to mayor's comments. As soon as I can find them. Yeah, working on the budget I just brought up, and I think it's an agreement on the 26th. We'll have Dan Lovelady and Bob Wright here at this time at 6 o'clock. Maybe I can see this. I mentioned a tennis court. The guy said he's about pushes back another 2 or 3 weeks on that. We did get a TAP grant, and speaking of delays, I've got the longest delay of anyone here in the room on the TAP grant. We did get 3 bids. Jess Griffin is working on that. Ultimately, we had about $67,500 federal money. We had about $13,000 that the city was responsible for. We had talked in the past that the school would shoulder half of that. City's been out $5,125 on this entire process. The school has agreed to pay for half of expenses. We'll probably have maybe something close to that in engineering fees. I think we're in pretty good shape overall. The second bid came in at around $160, and the winning bid was $104,062.50 by Site Work 1. The engineer, Jess Griffin, is waiting to hear from the state because we'd originally appropriated $67,500. That was the money we were gonna get back when concrete was a lot cheaper, like 2.5 years ago. So, but we did do a walkthrough with the superintendent, Chonk, and also with Charles and the engineer and the winner of the bidder, the bidder that won that got the bid, the contract. We're willing to work and use up the entire amount of money, so we're still gonna get that and use all the money and maybe just paint lines on some of the asphalt and use all the money that we can. And I think we'll be able to do the bulk of all of the sidewalks that's not on asphalt. So I think we're gonna come out okay in that. And as soon as Jess gets word back from the state to okay that, which we feel very confident we will, that's what we'll do. And I'll probably present that to y'all's next meeting. Is that Monday? Monday. It's school board meeting. So that's where we're at on the TAP grant. It has come to my attention that somebody recommended getting a fence to put at the animal shelter, some chain link fence, so instead of just, when they can let the dogs directly out of a cage and they could have a little running room, which you don't have right now. The estimate came in at around, I think, 10,000, which the city is not on the hook for. We'll ask for volunteers for that. That's several runs out there, and I think someone that wants to remain anonymous said, I'll put up half of that. So I'm just putting that out for the public. You can see me anytime after the meeting or next week or whenever. I was looking for that exact bid. I don't have it. I think it was 10,700.
What's the height requirements on the chain link?
Say that again.
The height requirement on the chain link, is it 8 foot?
I think it was 9 feet with a run on top. But I've got the it's got to meet that requirement. We talked about that. Thought Tony Soyano did a good job opening up his art studio on Main Street. He put a lot of time and effort into that. Also, had a really good parade for homecoming, everybody involved in that, and even a better football game. And Sammy made the comment, it was good to see all those people downtown, and it was. Did a real good job, and the football team was off the chart at homecoming, so you can't beat the Yellow Jackets. I'll end on a positive note, so thank y'all all for coming. Entertain a motion in a second to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second. We stand adjourned, thank you.